guys, Huskers GBR Rich here, bringing you the second vlog of the day that I've done. Not sure if it's going to be uploaded the same day as the first one, but nonetheless. Today is a little bit more serious topic, and again, kind of just about my background. It's something I haven't really said before, and that is I am a type 1 diabetic. I was diagnosed when I was 2 years old. I'm an insulin dependent, and type 1 is not the same as type 2. Type 2 is the adult onset diabetes, which a lot of older adults have, or what is what you get when you become obese and kind of have the bad diet. I mean, that's not all the reasons, but I'm just saying in general. Type 2 is the one that can be cured with like diet and exercise. The type 1 that I have cannot be cured, but I'm going to talk about that later actually, because there's some pretty cool stuff that just got announced by a company. But yeah, I'm a type 1 diabetic, and what I wanted to talk about today is I'm going to assume one of you guys knows somebody who is either type 1 or type 2 diabetic, and what I'm going to talk about applies to both actually. And this is something that's happened, that used to happen to me about once a year with my diabetes, but is now in the past month has happened, God, way too many times honestly to be truthful with you, and that is complete paralysis due to low blood sugars. And what I mean by that is diabetics, we get low blood sugars, we get high blood sugars. The average blood sugars are between about 80 to 120, and ours can fluctuate, way below that and way above that. And complete paralysis from hypoglycemia, and hypoglycemia meaning low blood sugar, it's some pretty bad stuff. There can be times where you just kind of get dizzy, that's like the first stage of it. Then you kind of get you almost act like you're intoxicated or drunk, your movements really aren't that great. And then there's complete paralysis, and this is what has happened to me 4 times in the past month essentially. And it always happens to me when I go to bed essentially, and I'm sleeping. And when I'm sleeping, you're not awake. I can't monitor my blood sugars like I could during the day. And what happens is my blood sugar ends up dropping overnight, and then I wake up in the morning and I can't move. And I'm not talking about I don't want to move or it's hard to move. I physically cannot move. And the only thing, I guess the only type of movement I can take, my hand, if my fingers are out like that, I can make a fist. That's about it. That's the limit of my movement when I have complete paralysis. And essentially what this means is that I cannot live by myself at all. Even if I had one of those little med alert necklaces where you can hit the little button and it'll dial 911 or an ambulance or something for you, I couldn't even do that. Couldn't even do that. I'd have to fall asleep with it in my hand for it to be able to work, and there's no way for me to keep that in my hand while I sleep. I roll around and stuff like that, so it's just not that practical. But what I wanted to tell you guys is that if you do have a friend that is type 1 or type 2, is please ask them, or not, well, yeah, I guess you guys would ask them how you should take care of them if something like that happens. Because my roommates I got some awesome roommates. I didn't really tell them about this before, because we moved in together a while ago, like 8-9 months ago, and it hasn't happened. It didn't happen until just recently. But essentially I woke up one morning and I was, I couldn't move, and I just kind of started moaning and stuff like that, trying to talk, and it was really bad slurred speech and stuff like that. But one of them came in and recognized that I was actually one of my roommate's girlfriends who spent the night, and she's a pre-med student, and she was able to recognize what the problem was. I knew I was a diabetic, and helped me gulp down a Dr. Pepper, which brought me around pretty quickly. But essentially, if she wasn't there or didn't know what to do, I don't want to say I would have died, but there's a good chance that some greater repercussions could have happened because of that. So moral of the story is I'm a type 1 diabetic. I'm not trying to get sympathy. I know I do take very good care of myself. I've tried very hard and everything, but shit happens, as we all know. And it's very important that if you have friends that are diabetics, to know how to treat their low blood sugars or high blood sugars or anything. Just ask them to tell you how to treat their sugars, and what to look for when they are low or high, and that should you might be able to really help them out someday. And you know, again, I'm very thankful for my roommates, and I just kind of wanted to pass that on. Think of it as like a public service announcement from your boy Huskers GBR. But that's it for today, guys. Gonna keep cranking out the vlogs. As you can see, it's still a really nice day here in Nebraska. You know, springtime's finally came around, and that means riding season is here. So take it easy, guys. I'll see you next time.